Are we up? Yeah. 10 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get this meeting started. Roll call, Larry.
Larry Stein, County Assessor, present.
Miles Davidson, District 3.
Butch Freeman, County Treasurer.
Jessica Clayton for County Commissioner Mon.
Joe Blau for Terry Bloomer.
Marissa Treat.
Rick Warren.
Okay, next item is notice of this meeting was properly posted on May 15th. Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Sheriff, would you mind leading us with that?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. Okay, next item is approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and second to approve as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wait a minute, we gotta be doing this.
No, you're fine. Just push the button here. There you go. Push that.
Consent agenda, items 2 through 29.
And there's an amendment on 6, and there's an attachment in front of you. It's just a breakdown. So, number 6, the item as a whole doesn't change. There's an attachment that's next to, probably just loose. That is just a breakdown that we just added in.
I'll make a motion to accept this document.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Just one real quick comment on item number 29, where we're looking to move not to exceed 500,000 from employee benefits to a point to appropriate funds on employee benefits. I'll remind the budget board and the county, we got major issues in employee benefits, major. In fact, even with this, right now, the best estimate, and where is John? How come it's not up here? Thank you.
So I think we're in the voting section of this, right?
It's just the document.
It's
Yeah.
just about-
I just received
I
the
just-
document.
And I actually just have a seat, but anyway, I just wanted to.
I'm
point out-
sorry, I was very.
He moved on.
I still- Yeah.
Got
I
it.
still want to point out that with this, we still project to be another 945 thousand short, and that becomes very important as this meeting progresses. Okay, so we've already got the motion, we got the second.
Just to receive the document.
Yeah.
So, all in favor?
Got a motion and second to receive the document. All in favor?
Aye.
Sir, I think that we need to have a second to update the roll call.
Oh. Sorry.
It's okay.
A second.
Cassie just needs a minute to update the computer.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Anybody got a good joke? This is kind of like Jeopardy.
Did you really need to ask Larry that?
Can't tell him.
Does that mean-
No.
Does anybody have a dog?
I appeared out of thin air.
You're a
It's a
heck
talent. It's a talent that I have.
from the sea.
Yeah.
I am getting worried. Okay, how are we doing?
She was God's gift to her parents.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Well, that's a rarity. It's silent up here. Are we voting again? Okay.
All right, so what are we voting for?
To receive the document.
All right, gotcha.
We got it. There we go.
Is we caught up now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That was the end of the consent docket. Now we'll move on into recurring agenda items. Number 30 is a report from, and I presume.
We have to still, we have to,
Yeah.
we have to discuss the.
You're
consent
just trying to
document.
rush this whole
Right.
thing.
I'm wanting to get to the fun part.
We need to consent.
Now a motion to approve consent.
Okay. How many times do I have to approve consent?
We haven't approved it yet. We've only received documents for it.
I'll second. All in favor?
All right.
By consent.
All in favor, vote yes.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, aye. How can I move on?
You may move.
Yes.
You're good. Now you're at item 30.
Well, thank you.
There you go.
Albert?
We'll get you there yet.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'll turn here. On your page 2 on your handout there, or page 1 technically on your handout, but 2 on the screen. For the 23-24 general budget, you can see there's our budget there. And at the very bottom highlighted there is our reserve balance of $679,738. That is, it was 1.6, but after we've made the 1 million employee benefits transfer, it dropped it to 679. And then the next page, which is our reserve balance there. As you can see, there's that $1 million transfer there, which leaves us with the 679,738. Now, with the other pending agenda item for employee benefits for the transfer of 500,000, if that is approved and goes through going forward, the remaining balance in the reserve will be $179,738. And then page 4 there on your general fund budget analysis, your year-to-date actual there, cash balance is $32,333,225 currently for the month of April. And then on your comparison, just comparing the last fiscal year to this current year, as you can see, last fiscal year at this time we were at 29,435,358 compared to where we are now at 32,333,225. And then on the employee benefits there, at the year-to-date balance for April was $965,249. And then as you can see there at the very bottom, our cash balance from 1 year ago was $310,514. So our cash balance is up. And then as far as the estimated projection there, of course, this is projection numbers, but John can give you more of the actual numbers as to where we're at in the employee benefits and where our shortfalls are there. The next one is the year-to-date comparison for the medical and RX claims for as of 4/30. Medical claims for was 15. Well, year-to-date is 15,321,880.65, and then RX is 9,659,495.27 for a total of 24,981,375.92. That plus our stop loss, refunds, rebates, ARPA reimbursements gives us a net paid claims of $21,118,036.72. And then the next one is your employee benefits comparison there. On the right-hand side, as you can see, our year-to-date actuals compared to the 22-23 actuals. Ending cash balance at the bottom there. At the end, from what we have on record here, we were down 350, 437 in the 22-23 for the same time period. Any questions on that? Sorry, I forgot to ask earlier. No? Okay, next and final one is the capital projects. As far as the unallocated funds there, we have $190,980 with the total ongoing capital budget of $8,919,313. And then at the very bottom there, available is your $1,447,228.46. Do y'all have any questions as far as?
Why's the badge access highlighted?
Oh, that's just because I was new added last month. I forgot to unhighlight it for this go around. Any other questions?
Questions?
This list includes ARPA funded projects. Or is it not?
This list, I'm trying to.
Does not.
No, it does
Okay,
not.
it doesn't.
No, this is just 230, Fund 230.
Other questions? If not, do I hear a motion?
Motion to receive.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to receive. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Albert. What's your list, Cody?
Good morning. Watch list, we've had a few changes since last month, a couple of additions. Juvenile for food and utilities, we've added $55,000 on there, as well as salaries. We added a $20,000 line item that we're going to track the rest of this month and see where we're at next month. We may need to help them out there. We do have an agenda item on your agenda today. It's item number 33. It's listed on the watch list as a recommendation. It's $500,000 to employee benefits. The Colonel had mentioned earlier, we are looking at potentially needing additional funds into employee benefits. The $500,000 will get through June. A little bit of push of some stuff from May into June, but the $500,000 is anticipated to get us into June. John is anticipating that we'll need more funds going into employee benefits to cover June bills, somewhere between 900,000 and $1 million. 945, 950 is kind of what we're looking at right now. Those are all based on averages of medical claims and prescription claims that have come in throughout the fiscal year. So those numbers could change. We are way into the fiscal year, so changing those averages is, we kind of know where we're at this late in the year. So I would anticipate that we are going to need to look at that next month. I mention that because, as Albert had mentioned, if this board approves the $500,000 transfer, we're going to have $179,000 in change left in reserve to get through the rest of the fiscal year.
So you're telling me then that we are going to be having to look, as we did last year, past the hat again. Is that correct?
As we sit here right now, I believe we are going to have to find some funding beyond what's available in general fund reserve to get through the end of the fiscal year to pay everything and not push claims into next fiscal year.
It's my understanding that the BET has had discussions on this, and I strongly support the dialogue that some of the members of the BET have, and that is we got to find a better way on employee benefits, especially. We've just got to. Passing the hat, it's the worst possible way to go. Worst possible. But we put ourselves into it. So we just got to, and I challenged the BET to find us a better way. We got great minds on the BET. Earn your pay.
Yeah, we have been having some discussions. One thing that we're looking at for next year, we don't have a recommendation yet, but one of the things that we've been talking about is, instead of funding the employer premiums into each individual general fund budget, we'll still need to do it for special revenue. But on general fund, because right now we look at what our anticipated expenses are for employee benefits, and then we back out numbers that we anticipate for reimbursements and the employee premium, and then what's left to pay that is employer premiums. And if we don't spend all of the money that's budgeted for employer premiums, we're going to have a hole, unless somehow we have big savings in expenses, which we've not noticed that recently. Even if we stay steady, we'll have a hole if we don't put what we budgeted into there. So there's some talk about potentially budgeting that, but doing a direct allocation instead of into each individual general fund budget, it actually going into employee benefits directly. That way we eliminate that variable, and we're only having to chase 97 other variables instead of this one big variable. So.
Questions?
Just real quick, Cody, I noticed under the capital projects, it looked like there was about 700,000 that was unallocated from Albert's report. Oh, that's your watch list. This would have been from, there you go.
It was 190.
So we got outstanding of 700 and there's 700 sitting there. Is that something that we could pull from should we need to?
Well, this is a different type of account.
It is.
This is a rollover account, so mechanisms, the way that works, I don't know about pulling out of this particular one. I don't know.
I mean, it's just a transfer into something that we would need to, or whatever we could do. I mean, if we're looking for money and there's accounting, I mean, there's 700,000 sitting there. I understand that. Right, so outstanding encumbrances 699, expense 700, and there's 1.4 sitting in there. So I may be rounding up a little bit, but 1.4 and 700 seems to be about 700.
Why not, Chrissy?
Yeah. So,
What I don't know is, for instance, on employee benefits, when we put money in there, that's a separate rollover account. We can't pull that back out.
Okay.
And I don't know that this may be that same way. I've never had those conversations on this particular account, but I would be inclined to think that that would be the case. We borrowed out of this one. Okay. So this one might be different. We may be able to do that. When you said borrowed, not payback. Okay. It was a grant.
You said
all
this
right, it
is
was just a question.
our capital project budget is a rollover account.
It is a rollover
Okay.
account, but I guess it's different than employee benefits. I guess we can pull out.
From it.
if we
Do you
don't.
remember how much, Christy, do you remember how much we granted?
She said 300,000.
300,000. Okay.
Which I think is, but that's, I'll have to refer back to my time on BET, but that was what we funded yearly, 300 for that quick react fund, correct?
The unallocated line item,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, and we try to keep that amount in there. So if we do have to transfer from here, then we're looking at budgeting that much more into it for next fiscal year. Now, if we need to, do that to get us through, we can, but that just limits what we have available to budget into next year.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
And then we just reloaded that 300,000 at September supplement.
You're either gonna have to repeat, like when Christie says something, or Christie, you're gonna have to come up here.
Okay, she was saying that 300,000 came from the unallocated line item in the capital account. So it was that bottom line item that we have, I think it was $190,980 right now.
All right?
199. So.
And that's the one line item that is kind of available, right? All the other line items are associated with a project. That one's not associated with a project. So if we took money from another line item, it would need to be a line item that we think we're overfunded in it, or in a line item that we just say, we're going to give up on that project or whatever. So the unallocated would be the easier line item to look at.
So the 300,000 from last year came from unallocated?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what
More questions?
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, thanks, Cody. Do we have a motion?
I'll move to receive.
I'll second. Just flip flop those.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Cody. Thanks to your BET. All right, John.
Good morning. I'll kind of address the question that Butch asked earlier. The BET is working on the budget, obviously, and trying to fill that gap. For the last 3 months, we've been working on that. We identified 2 issues with the budget, and those are fixed moving forward into next year. The premium revenue was overstated. That's been fixed moving forward. We underestimated claims a little bit in the budget as well. Last year, if you remember, we had a really high claim year. So that wasn't historically usually the case. So we budgeted a little lower than the claims last year. So that's kind of the gap right there. But BET's working. They've been looking at this the last 3 months to try to fill the gap between that, and looking forward to next budget year. We fix those issues, hopefully. So if you'll look at this spreadsheet, this kind of tells where we're at in terms of averages. I know Albert went over some of these figures, but it's important to look at where our averages are compared to last fiscal year. The first column is this fiscal year. The right column is last fiscal year, and this is through April 30th. We're averaging $364,000 in medical claims per week this fiscal year. Last fiscal year, through this same period, we averaged $377,000. So we're averaging about $12,000 less in medical claims versus last fiscal year. Prescription claims down below that. This is where we're seeing some drastic improvements. The proof really hasn't came to fruition yet because we paid many more weeks of prescription claims this fiscal year. We paid 47 weeks of prescription claims this fiscal year versus 41 weeks last fiscal year. So we paid many more claims. We've only paid $69,000 more this fiscal year and paid 6 more weeks of claims. But our weekly average for everything paid this fiscal year on prescription side is $205,000. Last fiscal year at the same period, we were at $233,000. So our prescription claims are trending down. We've just paid many more weeks. If you look down under the prescription column on the left, I did our averages since we made some changes. And if you look at since we moved to the new prescription plan on 10/1, our weekly average is $192,000 versus $233,000 last fiscal year. So we're seeing our costs go down. The reason we don't see that in a decrease there is because, again, we're way ahead in paying prescription claims. But our weekly averages are going all down. So that should sync up eventually. Another thing just to point out on the reimbursements, the last year we really benefited from those COVID reimbursements. We received right there $2.1 million extra in the budget. We budgeted $300,000 for this year. We've already received $468,000. So that's a big difference to money coming in the door. We received $1.7 million less in COVID reimbursements. So as Cody said, that $500,000 transfer will get us through this month into June. If you look at the financial reports, they're estimating about $1.1 million more. I think it'll be around $900,000 more, and that's all dependent on if we push claims or not and what comes in. This is based on averages. So one point of good news is we received our claim register for next week on the medical side. It's way below our average, so that helps us go into next month. So we're watching this weekly, watching with the BET, and we've got some fixes in next fiscal year to make sure that we try to cover that as much as we can.
John, the 41 weeks paid versus 47 weeks, are we just being better about paying on time, or was that purposeful, or
Good
talk me through
question.
that?
Good question. So under CVS Caremark, when we were with them, claims were incurred and then we paid for them. So the new company, we pre-fund 2 weeks of claims, so they don't have to pay that out of their pocket. So it's a different payment mechanism. So we're pre-funding and we're paying more quickly. They're
Okay.
billing way more quickly, but our costs are going way down. So this will eventually average out, because if you look at those weekly numbers, those averages are way lower than last fiscal year. But once we catch up in the claim payment process and get more even, our costs should go down.
More questions?
Just one more update. Connect Benefit, I'll send out a notice to everyone next week. If you remember Lucid Lane, it was a telemedicine mental health service. That went away. They went out of business, but Connect Benefit found another one that's really low price. It's called Skylar Health. It's for telehealth mental health services. We have a lot of mental health utilization on our plan. This makes it really easy. They're seen the same day on mental health visits, and it's the cheapest around. So I'm excited to have that coming out through Connect Benefits. They're going to send me the information to send out employees next week, but it's just additional mental health option that's all virtual for employees at a super low cost to us. So it's a win-win.
Other questions or comments? Your motion to receive is presented.
Move to receive.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cody?
All right, we're still talking employee benefits. This would be a transfer of $500,000. BET's looked at this, and we are recommending that budget board do this transfer from reserve into employee benefits to get us through May into June, paying the bills that come in this month. We're still going to be looking at, on a weekly basis almost, the claims that are coming in and what we're anticipating needing to get through June. And hopefully by that second week in June, when we have our regularly scheduled meeting, if we need to have specials, we will. We're going to have a special meeting next week to discuss a budget recommendation. But we're going to continue to track this, let y'all know where we think we're going to be for June from a dollar amount and also a recommendation on potential funding sources.
Motion to approve.
Are there any questions? If not, we got a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
You got a motion and a second. Hearing no further questions, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, sir. Okay. Madam County Clerk.
34 is just to replace Christy on, or actually, I'm sorry, to put Christy Ray on the handbook committee instead of Michelle.
Motion approved.
Second.
You got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I think we can take 35 through 38 together, can we not?
Yes.
Standard renewals.
Everyone is a standard renewal. 35 is VSP for our vision service plan. No increase in their administrative cost. 36 is SageView Consulting. They're our actuary for our health plan. It's an increase of $500 on that contract. Delta Dental, no increase in the administrative cost for their contract. And then 38 is just a run-out agreement. We're switching over to UMR from HealthSmart effective 7/1, but HealthSmart's keeping the FSA or the cafeteria piece, the flexible spending accounts, so there's no interruption in that through the end of this year. So this is just to pay for that cafeteria plan, FSA plan, through the end of this calendar year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Items 35 through 38, sorry.
Okay, we got a motion to approve 35 through 38. Do I hear a second, Larry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you. All right, 39. Is anybody here from Juvie? Anybody here from Juvie? Are you Juvie?
Either Jessica can explain these.
Hannah's here too behind
There-
you.
Oh, there she is.
They're all
Juvie is here. Hi, Hannah.
Good morning. So this one is mine, but it is money that we had left over in our COVID testing allocation. We actually received a grant to cover those COVID tests. So our other ARPA project was our purchase of transport vehicles. By the time we went to order the vehicles, we were short because obviously vehicle costs are higher than they were when we initially were allocated the funds. So we requested from P&G to reallocate the funds from our COVID testing to that fund instead so that we could purchase our third vehicle. So this is just that transfer.
I'll
Motion to approve.
Oh, go ahead. I'll second.
Oh, we just got all kinds of people wanting to motion and approve. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
The next one is another ARPA project, and it is recommended by Policy and Governance and BOCC for ARPA project 10117, the sheriff's camera system, in the amount of $53.01 to the main ARPA 1415 account.
So they're-
That'll close it out.
They're returning a whopping $53 to us.
$53
Man,
and one penny.
Well done, Sheriff.
Yeah. Sheriff, you want to make this motion?
Move to approve.
Oh,
Second.
you took the sheriff's thunder down there, Karen.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Man.
I didn't mean, I'm sorry.
Man.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, number 41.
Okay, number 41 is to return the remaining of the funds from project 10073, which is the detention center HVAC, in the amount of $2,483,530. That will go back into the main ARPA fund for 1415. There's more expense to that HVAC project than what that was allocated, and so we're going to return it back to 1415 and find other ways to pay for those needs.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Number 42 is in correlation with 41. And so we needed $678,945.40 in order to finish the front annex entry. And so we are requesting, or BOCC is requesting to use 607, that amount in order to pay that. And then the remainder of that a little over 2.4 million that we just approved to the main ARPA fund, that 1.8 million roughly will go back into the main ARPA fund 1415.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second?
Got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, items 43, I think we can take 43 and 44 together, can we not? Who's going to speak to these? You have
So-
some good information.
Yeah.
This is
Go ahead.
Yeah, me too. So again on ARPA funds, number 43 and just got out of my. I'm gonna get back on track. Those two funds were the sheriff's payroll and benefits, and we have approved at BOC to release those remaining project totals not to exceed $3,718,179.02, and then also in $3,718,179.02, in order to put that back towards our general fund.
This was the supplant, right, Joe? This was the deal that we went through and they did all the time on the sheriff. And this is
Right,
the
yeah,
supplanting, correct?
the costs for certain emergency personnel were reimbursable under the law. After doing all the accounting and the accounting for the time allocations, these are the two this is a partial FY and then a full FY, if I remember correctly. So as Jessica said, you're putting these in general fund, they'll be available next FY.
Yeah, that it cannot be used this fiscal year,
Correct,
but
that's
it
my
will
understanding.
become part of our laps, and we love laps. And so, and you addressed 43. Do you want to go ahead and address 44 at the same time? So I think they're the same, aren't they?
Yeah, just two different time periods,
Okay,
but correct. That is the
okay. But
Motion
both
to
of them
approve.
again will be, just like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Both of them again will be used, cannot be used this fiscal year, but they can next fiscal year. They're in county general, so it'll be part of the laps. All right.
Second.
Motion to approve item 43 and 44.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve 43, 44. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I believe 45 through 51. No, they're not.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, they're
Anyway,
all-
45.
Good morning.
Morning.
I can speak to 45. This is, we had two employees over the course of the year, back on the subject of benefits, make changes to their coverage. One went from single to family and one had not had coverage and had a qualifying event and picked up coverage. So this is to take care of that.
This is
Motion to
transfer.
approve.
Yeah, second.
Thank you.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Miles.
Mr. Chairman, I'll defer this item.
Okay, so 46 is being deferred.
Yes.
Okay. We need a motion on that, or do we? Or I don't,
Well, seeing no objection, that could be the order.
seeing no objection, it is the order.
There you go.
Thank you. 47. Juvie. I just love saying Juvie.
Items 47 and 48 are just transfers from our travel budget to M&O to help with some of our end of the year expenses.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second on 47, 48. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Mr. Court Clerk.
This is the transfer from benefits to our salaries and operations of $140,000.
Yeah. That was item 47 and 48 on the last one. I'm perfectly clear to her. Just trying to help her out a little bit.
And while we're catching up, Cassie, I just want to make sure that you got that I was a no on 42. Okay, thank you.
Are you ready? Okay, 49 is a transfer from benefits to salaries and operations of $140,000.
Move approval.
Any questions on this?
Just one,
Second.
we're short in benefits, right? Are you short in salaries also?
Yes, I believe this is not the first time it's been done either. I believe all year long people have transferred. So
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I need to transfer out of my benefits to my salaries and operations.
More questions?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. County Free Fair. Somebody want to move County Free Fair?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Madam County Clerk,
I moved to strike 51.
strike 51. As it is written, so shall it be.
There you go.
Is that good?
That's very similar to seeing no objection, so I like that.
52. Grants. Joe Blau.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, oh, was right.
Don't take that wrong.
no, I feel for him in this.
Good, yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Earlier in the consent, you all appropriated a little over $1.6 million that we had received from the state of Oklahoma via the savings that were the result of state questions 780 and 781. The state, through legislation, made available to the counties some of those savings. What we have done here is worked with the treatment courts and the DA and the public defender to come up with a program to help support the growth of our treatment courts and diversion programs. So this $817,000 will cover the contract period that we've entered into for this current FY with the Public Defender's Office. We'll receive another $817,000 or so in June. And then each year going forward, it's anticipated we're going to receive approximately $2.4 million. And the contract period that we're going to have with the state for these programs is that 3 years. So.
And thank you, Joe, for working on this, and thank you, Nikki, for working on this. I know this has been a lot of back and forth with DMH, and I think we finally got it right. So thank you.
On the public defender's office and the DA's office.
Yeah, there are a lot of folks, treatment courts, Bridget, Vicky have been involved with this. Bob was involved with this. So I am happy we are finally getting this done.
There's a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah.
Somebody had to be sacrificed, Joe, and you were the one.
That's what happens when you're the oldest one on the block. Just
Yeah.
remember that.
I will move approval on item 52.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Motion second to approve 52. All in favor?
Aye.
53.
Move approval of the item to transfer some funds into mail postage.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve item 53. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Citizens' participation. Are there any citizens have signed up or would like to participate? Seeing none, hearing none, receiving none. Board comments. Start with the sheriff this time.
New for the meeting.
Now you gotta pull the mic
Yeah,
down
pull
to
the
your
mic.
face. And start with the national, if you'll start with the national anthem, sir.
Start with the national
Say,
anthem. I think I
"Oh,
started with that
city."
earlier.
Okay.
But it's just a message from the sheriff that for 43 and 44, he says, sends a message that for him and his office, this is just another example of honoring their commitment to doing exactly what they said they were going to do. He just wanted to throw that out.
No comment.
No comment.
No comment.
No comment.
Just one request to the sheriff. Luke Bryan is in town. If you could let him play the concert before you guys arrest him for anything. He does seem to have that track record. I would
He has a warrant?
appreciate it. No warrants. No warrants. Just let the concert happen first.
Not yet.
That's
Not
a lot
yet,
of
Sheriff. Not yet.
that's a lot of revenue we need to get into the bank. So after the concert.
Larry?
Nothing.
Okay, is there any new business? If not, we have a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. Rick?